What is going on, everybody, and welcome to another Beta Memoirs. Now, today has been an interesting day in itself. I think we're all looking for a pullback. There is no real reason to sell. We just keep going up. I know there's been a lot of people talking about a crash. Inflation concerns keep rolling in. We got data last week that kind of pointed towards inflation. Today, we had the core CPI data, which was a lot higher. Actually, I believe it was historically higher than it's ever been since, I want to say the 1970s or something along those lines. But it's been, nonetheless, it essentially destroyed what we thought would be for inflation numbers at this point. I know Powell keeps reiterating that it is transitory. I even believe it to be transitory. It is a summertime, but ultimately the market didn't really care. The market started pushing this morning, but then we kind of stalled out. Even I think there was mixed signals. Nobody really knew what to interpret with the numbers, or the market did not care this morning. But then about midday, we had bond auctions today. And during that bond auctions, we started to get some dramatic selling in TLT today. This huge candle, there's actually a bear flag here on the hourly, but this huge candle just dropped the bonds. And being said, when it comes to bonds, the bonds do have an effect on the market, but only when they make a massive move like this really fast. In this 1 hour, it caused the market to start pulling back pretty hard, pretty fast. But being said, the market is still strong. It did pull back, but I don't really think enough. I think ultimately what's going to happen overnight, we're going to get some more digestion of the core CPI numbers and understand that it was a lot higher than expected. Is this going to lead Powell into having to make rate changes? Again, I don't think he will. I think a lot of people are kind of pushing everything towards inflation. As far as I'm aware, the numbers really didn't prove that that the inflation in itself was as bad as it's being projected to be. Again, it's very high, came well over 5, I believe is what it was, 5.4, raising to 5.4 over the last 12 months. So being said, the market is digesting the information. And then to put on top of everything, we do have the beige book tomorrow at 2. And we do also have Powell testifying to Congress for the next 2 days. So there's going to be a lot of questions. There's going to be a lot of volatility over the next 2 days, especially with all the data that's coming out. Is he going to start raising rates earlier than he has said he has? If he does by chance do that, I think there will be a bigger pullback in the market. I think it will be temporary, though. I don't think it's going to be anything that's going to drop the market. The market has way too much strength in it to really crash here, which I know there's a lot of people that do talk about a crash. If there is a crash, it won't be until sometime next year, in my opinion. Will there be a correction? Yeah, there'll be a correction. We did have a bit of a correction back in March. I think there'd be a little bit more of a correction. It wasn't much of a correction. I think it was only like 8% at most. I don't think we actually hit 10% back in March. But being said, the bonds, so the bonds made that crazy move and really made the market pull back. Being said, this is where we're at. Again, the market didn't want to give way. We're actually just retesting here. After hours, the market held strong. There's a lot of strong ones, like even your Apples held extremely strong. It did sell off, but it hit supports, right into support. Amazon, until that last little candle, is finally started showing sign of weakness. It's been holding this pattern for quite a long time. Amazon is actually one I'm looking at tomorrow. If we do hit that 3604 mark, looking for a bounce there, or possibly even at 3612, depending where this 200 moving average is. We might catch a little bit of support there and catch a bounce back up. We are going into earnings. Even like your shop held extremely well today. Tesla, it tried today and it got denied today. I was watching this. Like I said, I had swung it the night before and played intraday. And with this today, that run back up to 7 and it got denied. Tesla's going to come back down 620, possibly, may not. It may come back into this zone, the 650s. But ultimately, Tesla is definitely one I want to keep on watch through this whole what is going on with inflation talks again, and kind of what I've been doing over the past a couple weeks, possibly even months at this point, is just swinging or playing with the leaders, the market leaders in growth, because that is where a lot of the major moves are going to come from. A lot of other mid-tier, low-tier market caps, mid-cap and small-cap companies have really kind of taken a hit and been selling off. And that's typically what happens when inflation starts coming up. Then your quick rebounders are always your major leaders, like your Teslas or Amazons and Apples. Even today, I did take a position in Roblox. I did, after all the inflation information that came out, I did end up selling it. I didn't want to swing it. I wanted to go all cash because of the overnight digestion. I think is really going to make a bigger dramatic difference, especially because there's a lot of uncertainty. And whenever there's uncertainty, the market doesn't like that. And we have been having some pretty solid gap downs from that point. So being said, I think overnight it's going to have that again. Again, if we hear something from Powell, we might get another major move from that point. And then even going into Thursday, we might kind of cool off Thursday, or maybe we get more digestion going into Thursday night or Wednesday night into Thursday and get another gap down. I think by the end of the week, though, we're going to push right back up to all-time highs. I think it's a very strong possibility. Everything that is selling off is getting bought right back up. Even Facebook, I swung this. This is a position I've been in since down here at the 47. As soon as I broke this, was probably about a 348. Got in this position, wrote it out here. I ended up getting out yesterday. Not only to see this position pull back this morning, I didn't grab it again. I should have. But ultimately, Facebook has been strong. Facebook has been one of the safe plays through the past couple months. And so if you've really been catching any kind of any issues trying to make money in this market, it's definitely good to stay with the leaders, because that's where the momentum is at this point. And leading us in growth will definitely separate from everything else because of that fact. Although what Cathie Woods has reiterated before is we don't want just tech to be running. We do want value to be holding, and value has been kind of struggling over the past couple of weeks. It's definitely been high growth. Your Apples, your Amazons, your shops, your Facebooks, Teslas, they've all been, your FANG stocks have just been running like crazy. I think they're going to eventually cool off here going into earnings. It kind of reminds me back in March of going into earnings then, on how we anticipated some big earnings, and then we got some news and we died off. I don't even recall what the news was at that point, but we died off pretty hard. And then I think Amazon was kind of the nail in the coffin. It did terrific on earnings, best earnings ever, and then all of a sudden it tanked right after the fact, and that just kind of had this domino effect going on into the rest of the following weeks after that, where we really started pulling back on that 10% correction, or the 8%. I believe it was actually 8% overall in the index. But being said, I don't have a watch list. My biggest thing again is to stay with FANG stocks. Watch what the market does. Watch what the bonds do. I know in the VIX pops, it looks like it's getting ready to pop overnight. I wouldn't be surprised if it does pop overnight. Gold, Bitcoin, nothing has really moved as far as like inflation concerns. They bring kind of inflation gauges, but still nothing there. Corn is something I've been kind of using as like an inflation gauge as well. It's popped a little bit, but nothing major. Well, that's pretty much it. I think right now there's just a lot of uncertainty in the markets, and what is going on. And so just be mindful. Like myself, I'm cash. I've been cash. I took that Roblox play, was in shares in that, got out of that after I saw the bonds, the way the bonds were moving. And then Mr. Powell tomorrow, I didn't want to hold anything because I knew we might get digestion in the dip overnight. And so I wanted to do that. I didn't want to take puts because I didn't feel it was, I wasn't fully bought on any kind of significant sell-off to be able to go into puts overnight. Again, for myself, I try to look for bigger moves. If the move isn't big enough, if I would have grabbed the peak maybe, but I didn't grab the peak. The news came out and the bonds started selling pretty fast, and then everything slowly trickled after that. So being said, going into tomorrow, we got Powell for the next 2 days. Just be mindful of that. Safest thing to do also as well is just not take a position, wait till things shake out, possibly even wait for a good dip. We should get in a good dip here in the next day or two. If inflation concerns get even worse with what Powell says, then we could see a little bit more selling, but I think it's only temporary. I think we're going to continue up. We were just looking for an excuse to sell is what we are doing. So hopefully these next 2 days provide us a good opportunity to buy a nice dip. Again, stay with FANGs, in my opinion. Again, if you're going to shop for some of these other ones for investments, like your Palantir or whatever the case is, I think that's also something good to be mindful of. If we do get more inflation, this might come down quite a bit more, concerns and stuff like that, and then wait for those dips, buy those up, get ready for the fall. I think the fall we're really going to rip. I think a lot of this stuff, this uncertainty and everything will start doing better. It's not going to just go away overnight. But I think ultimately we are becoming a little bit more number to the inflation stuff. As long as Powell doesn't change his tune, I think everything's going to be quite all right. And I think that's what people are waiting on for tomorrow and on Thursday. So being said, remember to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already done so. Until next time, I'll see you guys later.